Today on Discover Wisconsin, have you ever wondered what dairy farmers do with the limited amount of spare time they have? Well, you're about to find out.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
This is an anthem for those who look for more and never say they've seen it all. Windows and wax, take a ride. The good land's great tonight.
This episode of Discover Wisconsin, America's Dairyland is brought to you by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. America's Dairyland is my land. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a few of Wisconsin's dairy farmers who work hard to produce quality milk. Their dedication to their jobs keeps them quite busy, so their free time is limited. But we were able to find a few dairy farmers who, although extremely busy, still manage to have a life beyond dairy. We first shine the spotlight on Jimmy Begley, a man with tools in his hand and a song in his heart. Jimmy Begley is the fifth generation to work his family's farm. He developed a strong work ethic from working on the farm that keeps him grounded. As the farm's resident mechanic, he works long hours to keep all the machinery working. He credits his ability to keep the farm equipment humming with his early musical memories.
Earliest stuff I remember is my father Howard and my mom Alice putting records on of Glenn Miller and all big band kind of stuff. So I was really influenced by a lot of horn-based kind of music right pretty early.
Even while working to keep the equipment running, he still manages to find time to stop for a visit and a song with his mom and sister.
This is the first one. Hi, Ronnie.
Having grown up in a musical family, it's not unusual for them to get together and croon a tune.
It's something that's inside of me. It's been inside my family. The music has just been something we can't get away from.
One thing that he finds important is his gig off the farm.
Please welcome the Jimmies.
Welcome, everybody.
That's right. In his spare time, Begley fronts a band called the Jimmies.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of late nights. I am in charge of a band called Subliminal Message, the Jimmies. We're a seven-piece blues and R&B band. We're a blues band that travels quite a bit for being not quite a full-time touring band. It was really tough for me to let go of a little bit of what's going on here and start pouring my heart into the music. So in time, I became more of a musician than I became a farmer. And you can't be a part-time farmer. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. You have to be here. So I guess in that terms, I'm more of a musician.
Although it was hard to break from the farm, Jimmy knew he made his family proud after a festival he played in Wausau, where all his family attended.
One at a time, my aunts and uncles and everybody came up. Great show, great everything. Mom came up and said, "Oh, it was so wonderful, proud of you." And then my dad stepped up to me and he just said, "I was so proud of," and then he just choked up and walked away. And so it still gets me. It was, yeah, that was a good day.
Even though he spends a little less time at the farm, he's more than proud to let people know he grew up on a dairy farm.
It's a whole different thing, pretty high tech, and the machinery keeps getting bigger and bigger and more complex. So it's fun to have people see that there's another side to you. Everybody's got a story, you know. This happens to be mine.
He takes pride in his dairy roots and is also proud to share the musical side of himself as well. Begley says the rewards are tremendous.
I got a letter from somebody from England who saw us at Taste of Madison, and they were moved, and they wrote this letter, and I just said, you know, this is really why we do it. It isn't for the tens of dollars that we make. It really is about moving people and having them understand your music and understand the soul that you're putting out on stage. There's something about it that you can go in front of 10,000 people and play a song that you wrote, you know, and have people, you know, cheer it. I don't know how to explain it.
No need to explain, Jimmy. We'll simply enjoy the music and be proud to call you one of Wisconsin's very own. Log on to discoverwisconsin.com to see a bonus video of the Jimmy's concert performance. Don't go away, because you'll want to see me flip out in the next segment. Literally. Welcome back to America's Dairyland, where we're focusing on what farmers do beyond dairy. Most Wisconsin dairy farms have a barn and a few other outbuildings to store machinery and equipment. When Terry Arns built a machine shed on his property over a decade ago, he intended for it to be a machine shop. Well, things didn't really go as planned, and now that building stores other kinds of equipment. I'm thrilled to introduce you to the Arns family. So tell me a little bit about the history of Arns and how many cows you guys are milking. What's kind of the daily routine like here?
Yeah, we milk about 50, 60 cows. Pretty much just concentrate on milk cows. Don't have no young stock. And basically run 180 to 200 acres.
Terry and his sons, Tyler and Alex, run the everyday operations. One other thing I noticed that is certainly unlike any other dairy farm, a few little girls running around in leotards. What is that all about?
Well, we built a shop, was gonna be my shop. It pretty much went from being a shop to kind of a playhouse first and then their gym.
Terry and his wife Susan also have 4 daughters. They still help out on the farm in Terry's machine shop, but in a somewhat different capacity.
No arching, okay?
Kind of just started out for our girls to work out in a little bit, and it's just growing into something I never thought it ever could be.
So what happened was Terry built a shed in 2005. At the same time, a local school was terminating their gymnastics program. So the Arns saw an opportunity to allow their girls to practice at home. They purchased the equipment and later opened AMKM Gym, an acronym for the 4 sisters. Amanda?
We need to lift in the shoulders a little bit more. Pull tight for that lift.
Megan?
Very nice. Good. Much better.
Kelsey?
Kiddo. There you go.
And Molly.
Here, and chest up looking, okay?
The gymnastics shed sits way back on the Arns property, so it's easy to see how people can get a little confused when the address they arrive at for a gymnastics lesson is actually a working dairy farm. Not only do they produce delicious milk, they nurture some top gymnasts as well.
When we started very, very beginner level, and then progressively we got into USA Gymnastics. We started looking at the possibility of building our program so that we can get girls to hopefully be competing on a national team one day. And so last year, when Ella qualified level 10, that was a huge step for us.
And that's one level under elite.
Yes.
So people who aren't in gymnastics know that is a huge deal anywhere.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And we've got several girls who are quickly catching up with her too.
I'm sure she's inspiring them, and
Yes.
you guys are obviously inspiring her. So we're gonna look for her in 2020 at Tokyo, hopefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fingers crossed. Yes.
I don't want to brag or anything, but while at AMKM training facility, I fully took advantage of getting in a quick little workout. Time for dismount. Nailed it. Okay, so maybe I'm not at Olympic level yet, but with Amanda's daughter and future coach in training, Gracie, at my side, I'm perfecting my skills.
Don't do what you just did. Be confident.
Okay, be confident.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. Okay, I needed that. Okay.
You got it.
Thank you, Gracie.
Okay.
So with a little more practice and lots of cheering, I finally did a vault.
You're the best ball I've ever seen.
What? That is so nice of you. What was my score from you, Judge? Yes. Room for improvement, but I'm pretty happy with that score. High five. Thanks for the advice, everyone. Woo, woo, woo.
Now you go back and show your coach what you learned.
Clearly, Gracie has the same work ethic her grandparents have. Hard work and dedication has made the Arns Family Farm a notable place to visit. See more of my shenanigans at the gym by logging on to discoverwisconsin.com. Up next, I'm revving things up at the racetrack. Stay tuned. Welcome back to America's Dairyland. It's a very special episode where we're looking at what farmers do beyond dairy. Most of us have driven past a farm near planting or harvest time and have seen the big machines that farmers work with. We caught up with one farmer whose work with smaller machines has spawned another business that's fast driving their sales into a tailspin. Rev your engines because it's time to meet the Richardsons. Jay Richardson, who co-owns Sunbow Farms with his wife Christy, got into the game of dairy in 1994 with a small 50-cow herd, and over the years has expanded it to a 1,000-cow dairy in Pierce County.
When I was a little boy, I grew up on a hobby farm. My dad had a job in town, and we just had a hobby farm, and I called it my 200-acre sandbox. And fast forward to adult life, and the hobby grew out of control.
Although farming started out as a hobby, it quickly turned into a passion along with one of Jay's other favorite endeavors, dirt track car racing.
How does one even initiate a passion for such a sport?
Well, I was 16 years old, and my dad and I had been to the track a few times, and we were sitting in the grandstands one day, and he said, "Geez, I think you'd enjoy doing this." I was pretty mechanical as a kid, and so be darned if I didn't end up buying a car and getting started.
A lot of people obviously have their own passions and their own hobbies, but this is really a family affair here.
It is, it is. I met my wife, who actually liked dirt track racing as well, but not at the racetrack. And then we got married, and I took a few years off of racing in order to start the farm. And then we got back into racing because she wanted to get back into it more than I did. And then with the kids growing up, it's just been a fantastic hobby for us to participate in as a family.
The Richardsons are lucky enough to work both of their passions into thriving businesses. Along with managing their farm, they also managed to parlay their love of racing into custom-made dirt track race cars to sell to other drivers.
Is there any comparison, or are they two completely different worlds?
Well, they're completely different worlds, but they're both done in the dirt.
That's true. Good point. Good point.
And racing truly is a family affair for the Richardsons. And for a day, they let me share their passion. I quickly learned it's all about the tires.
What we're doing is we're using this sander with all this rough sandpaper. And all we're doing is just scuffing off all the plasticness, and that's all we need. We don't need to take hardly any tread away. It's just
no carving my initials or any fancy artwork like that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, I'll let the pro do it then.
Okay.
Smells like rubber.
Yep.
Now that we're at the track, it just keeps going.
You're gonna be in charge of lug nuts.
Okay, I'm in charge of lug.
All
I'm
right.
the lug nut girl.
Awesome.
I got it. All right, what do I do?
I'll show you.
Okay, gotta go this way.
And possibly the most important part of tire performance is pressure.
We just checked all the lug nuts, and now we're about to check the tire pressure.
Yes.
Right? Okay. How does one go about checking tire pressure? I'm really showing my lack of car knowledge here. My dad would tell you.
So we have a digital tire pressure
Okay.
page, and on the back we have a cheat sheet. So this is the right rear. So we're gonna put make sure there's 13 pounds in it.
Then it's time to race. I'll leave that part up to Jay and Jason, while Christy and I cheer them on from the stands. It's really exciting to watch, and it's easy to see why the Richardsons love it so much.
Farming is what has allowed for us to maintain the racing and to grow that. It wasn't the other way around.
So a passion for dairying kept the Richardsons' passion for racing right on track. A hard work ethic and a desire to play as hard as they work make this dairy farm family a unique one. Check out some of the bloopers of me working on the cars by heading to discoverwisconsin.com. Up next, if you build it, they will come, is one philosophy that's held true at our next farm. We're back in America's Dairyland, discovering lives that go beyond dairy. Wisconsin is well known for its limestone filtered water, and farmers credit it with helping to make their milk taste great. But one farmer in Alma Center uses water for a very creative reason. You're going to love meeting the Heller family.
Grandpa started dairy farming on this current location and was able to grow it and build it to the point when Dad took it over and embraced it and grew it again, and I'll continue that tradition.
Cody Heller and his brother Shane are the third generation to run Heller Farms, a 1,000-cow dairy in Alma Center, Wisconsin.
So Cody, life as a farm kid, what was it like?
Life as a farm kid was very exciting. Growing up, you had different challenges, different changes every day. Nothing's the same, every season changes. So with every new season, there's new things to do and new interactions on the dairy.
The boys are lucky enough to work with their dad to keep the farm going.
So Blake, you've been farming your entire life.
Yes, ma'am. Even when I was in diapers, my dad managed to scrape together enough money by age 27 to rent a farm, buy some cows, and been farming ever since.
Wow, here it is, huh?
True story. Got cows, we got the little piggies, corn and soybeans.
Blake also has 2 daughters who no longer work on the farm, but the family still manages to get together for special occasions. And something that brings them all together lies at the end of their cornfield.
All right, let's go back 20 years, Blake. Say you have a crystal ball. Would you have ever imagined this would be in your future?
I dropped the crystal ball, so I had no clue.
Plead the fifth.
Well, I suspect he had a bit of a clue, but what Blake is referring to is Blue Moo Lake. Carved out of an acre of cornfield, this water hole is where the Hellers hone their skills barefoot water skiing.
How does a Wisconsin farmer fall into barefoot water skiing?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. I learned one important thing in my college career at University of Wisconsin-Madison. That's where I learned to water ski. Our fraternity was right on Lake Mendota, and that's what I learned.
Here we are. Here we are. So it's one thing to have this as a hobby, to be a barefoot water skier, but you're hosting the World Championships, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. In August of 2016, they hosted their first World Championship Barefoot Water Ski Tournament.
Like the Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. It's super exciting to be able to bring all the countries from around the world that compete and bring them into western Wisconsin, here into a small rural community in the middle of a cornfield on a dairy farm, and bring them in to experience this, to see the beauty here.
Both Cody and his sister Elaine are competing in barefoot events, as his nervous mom Janelle and I watched from the bleachers.
You have to land one to go to the next you got to advance to the next round. So jump number 1 is generally calmer. You don't try to go as big, try to make sure you get one on the board. Your confidence, self-confidence goes way up after you get one on.
He's at home here, riding in the cow suit, cuts out the wake, he's up, he's over, oh, he goes, he's got it!
I don't know how they do that.
No matter what it is that keeps the Hellers and other farm families together, it's good to know that while they work hard to bring us healthy, sustainable food, they still manage to create a life beyond dairy. This episode of Discover Wisconsin, America's Dairyland is brought to you by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. America's Dairyland is my land.